So very good afternoon, all the students. So we are left, we have started in the last lecture that is about force method. So now everybody has some idea what does force method means and how we can solve the problem by using force method. So again, I have a problem to solve with using the force method here in this class. We are going to start with. So question is determine the moment at the fixed wall for the beam shown in the figure. EI is constant. Again, it's a probed cantilever beam, but right now in this case, there is a beam which is probed cantilever. There is a moment acting on a your roller and is 20 kilonewton meter, and its length is 10 meter. This is the actual beam that we have. We need to calculate the fixed moment which is acting at the wall. So first of all, we need to divide this beam into the two segments. One is as you can see here. So we divided this segment, this beam to be two parts. So we need to calculate the fixed wall moments. So what we need to do, we have to remove the restriction of that reaction that is required to calculate. So what is the meaning of force method which we are doing here? We need to remove the restrictions or redundant force. For that we need to calculate the value, right? So here you need to choose a sport which is going to allow us to rotate the body, fine, but there should be restriction on the other side which is provided by the original sport which is fixed itself. So we need to use a hair that is you can say it's a hinge sport which is having the restriction in vertical as well as horizontal, but it is allow us to rotate in or you can say it's allow us to rotation, fine, means a deflect slow will take place on the sport. So that's why we need to remove that redundant against that restriction applied by that. So this is the condition. There is a 20 kilonewton load is applied. I remove that, replace that fixed sport to the hinge sport and remove the redundant which is applied before this sport. Fine. Now there is a moment that we need to apply here. So basically, what is the deflection is taken place here? That is a theta A, which is happening due to the moment applied at or moment acting at the roller sport. So due to that, there is a theta A happening at sport A. Similarly, due to the moment applied here, that is unit moment initially we are going to put here. So theta AA, which is you can say slope or angular deformation taken place at A due to the force applied at A. MA, this is the couple moment we need to apply. Obviously, moment is going to rotate the body here. So couple moment at A into the coefficient or angular displacement. The coefficient of angular displacement or MA is nothing but it is a redundant MA is applied. So that is a released one, but now we need to apply and get the value whether it is trying to rotate the body in which direction. Otherwise, if you see here in the real beam, there is no rotation is possible. So again, we need to superimpose them and let's try to solve it. So again, we are going to use the superposition principle. So whatever the data is mentioning, I just explained to you. I'm not going to read it out here. So compatibility equation we used going to consider taking positive rotation as counterclockwise. So that you can mention your side. You can take clockwise to be the positive or anti-clockwise to be negative. So here I'm just taking counterclockwise to be the positive. So they both are in the same direction. That's why theta, that summation of the all the rotational or rotation values means you can say that slope which is happening at spot A due to the moment applied or couple acting at B point, that is theta A, and plus the rotation which is happening due to the couple applied at A spot, that is a redundant MA. Due to that, there is angular displacement coefficient is there. So multiply by that summation should be equal to 0. The actually beam is not allow us to rotate. So the term theta A and alpha A can be determined as we already solved by using any method of previous semester. So the already solved this problem we already solved in the previous classes also. Theta A due to the moment applied at B, which is coming out to be ML by 6CI, and moment at the theta at B point, what is the value? That is ML by 3EI. That values we have already calculated. So I'm not going to get there how we are getting those values. So theta A, which is nothing but ml by 6 ci, m is the moment applied, that is 20, L is the length of the segment or that span of the beam, that is 10 meter by 6 ci, that value coming out to be 33.3 kilonewton meter square by EI. So that is the theta A we are getting. Now we need to get the value of alpha AA. So alpha A is nothing but now we need to calculate now the moment at a unit load, if you apply at, if ma is the unit, in that case what is the value of theta alpha A, which is nothing but you can say angular coefficient displacement, which is happening when there is a unit moment is acting, and we are going to measure the slope at point A due to the unit moment applied at A, that is alpha A. And we need to calculate theta AA, means when a redundant force is applied, multiply by the unit force, mean the total will be there, fine. So 1 into the span, which is 10 by 3 EI, so that value coming out to be 3 EI. So put into the equation, that equation we just written. So that is the value anti-clockwise taking as positive. 0 is equal to 33.3 by EI plus MA. Now we need to use the, instead of 1, just to multiply by MA, and this is the alpha A that we calculate by using this relation. MA will coming out to be minus 10 kilonewton meter. Now we have this 20 kilonewton, there is 10 kilonewton. Now this problem become a static problem. You can easily solve it by taking a moment about any of the support point. Let's take a moment about this A point, that will be 20 kilonewton, or there is a reaction also that we need to find. So 20 kilonewton, it is going to be, suppose this sign is taking as positive, so clockwise taking positive, so 20 into 10, sorry, 20 is already movement, so no, don't multiply the 10, already it's the movement. So 20 is in clockwise direction, minus 3 into 10, so that will coming out to be 10 only. So that's how you can get the value. So, and ultimately, and then get the value 3, this is 3, and there obviously their summation should be equal to 0 to 3 3, and that's a simple problem you can do yourself as well. So that's how we can draw the shear bending moment diagram, and similar wise you can draw the shear force diagram. Shear force diagram will be simple one, just you need to draw a straight line like this. So that might be not crossing from this point, it can be from there, as this is just a diagram that is visual on your screen, so you can plot yourself also, from where at midpoint what is the value of bending moment and what is the value of other segments also. So from where it is crossing, that you can calculate, right? So next is I'm taking the other problem, which is a frame structure, and try to solve this frame structure by using your you can say by the force method. So this is a frame structure. There is a hinge support and there is a hinge also. So if you want to calculate how many redundant forces do I have in this case, first of all you need to find out or make the free body diagram. So how I can get that value, let's see. So there are two unknowns, and at this hinge also I have two unknowns. So there are four unknowns, and available equilibrium equations are 3, 4 minus 3. So there is a one redundant is force is there, so that we need to find it out. So any of the support point you can release, or any of the support reaction you can release. In this case, I'm just releasing one of the support reaction, or like I'm just making that support to be a roller support, means I'm allowed to deform the horizontal direction. So that redundant I need to calculate. If I want, I able to calculate, then it's a problem of a determinate structure that I can easily calculate. So any of the sport you can make a roller. So because again you need to be very careful about which sport I need to replace it. So if you are taking a roller sport, roller will allow us to release in one direction. I mean, I need to remove the redundant and calculate its value. Fine. Then we have remaining with three unknowns, so that can be calculated by using statically equilibrium equations that we can easily calculate. So that's how I am doing here. So as you can see in this image, I just change the hinge support to the roller. The extra redundant I remove by replacing the hinge support to as a roller support. Fine. So roller vertical restrictions remains there, but horizontal it is allowed. So that's why it is going to be deflect like this. This is the delta B, which has happened due to the force applied. Actually, force is applying at the member. And then we need to apply the redundant force. Their value I need to require. So that's how it is going to be deflect. And due to the deflection, this beam is going to be deflect like this. So this value we require. So what we need to use. So let's see how we can solve this problem. So again, the way we need to be instruct how the beam is going to be deflect. So according to the principle of superposition that we have already seen, the very important principle which is always used to calculate or you can say calculate the unknown forces. So this principle is very handy to use in this as a structural analysis parts basically. So by inspection that I already explained you that there is a first degree of indeterminacy of the structure. So we'll choose the horizontal reaction in this case. So I remove the roller support hinge support to as a roller support and allow my beam, or I allow my frame to deflect in horizontal direction. So then we can write by taking the reference of B point, and compatibility equation will be as initially we have. This is a hinge support which is not allowed to deflect in horizontal as well as vertical direction. So summation of delta at this point should be equal to 0. So both are in the same direction. So delta B plus the deflection By into the, you can say, delta BB or FBB, whatever it is. So 0 is equal to delta B. This is a deflection at point B due to the real loading at the frame, plus Bx, or you can say is a redundant force multiplied by the coefficient of your displacement. Fine. So now we need to calculate all the values first. So there is a frame which is looking into that, as it is not a symmetric section, only the beam segment having the load, but this column don't have. So we need to divide this into two sections. We need to cut two sections. So M1 is going to relate with this segment only, and M2 for this segment only. So we need to cut these two. So term delta B and FBB will be computed using as virtual work method I'm going to adopt, or otherwise you can go for any method that we have seen in structure analysis part 1. So it is important that in each case is the selected coordinate x1 or x2 be the same for the both real and virtual loading. Both means real loading is the load which is actually acting, and virtual loading, that is the unit load that we need to apply in the direction of deflection is taking place. So positive direction M and M must be the same. The direction you need to verify whether in which direction you are applying. So delta B that we need to apply. So we are going to measure the deflection as it's a hinge force. I am just taking the load deflection. We are going to measure in this direction. So 0 to L, that is a formula of a virtual work method. I know everybody may be aware about it or not, but if you are not, so please go through the notes of essay 1. So you will find the relation. It's the integration of limit 0 to L, that is M. Capital M stands for the moment due to the real loading. Small m is due to the virtual loading, means you need to remove the real loading and apply the unit load in the direction of displacement and calculate the moments due to that load applied. So first segment, as it is a length already mentioned, beam length is 5 meter. I think, yes, it's a 5 meter, and column is having 4 meter height. So first segment that is 0 to L, which is valid, and for second we need to cut a different section because loading is not symmetric in this case, and even segment is not symmetric. Fine. So what we need to do first, you need to consider real loading case. I am going to calculate M1 and M2. So first of all, by doing this calculation, you need to find first the reactions of the sport. So how you can calculate the reaction? Just take the moment about any of the sport point. So basically, I'm just doing 8 into 5. It's a 40. So reaction at this point will be WL by 2, and there will be also WL by 2. I hope this point you are getting, but I'm just explaining to you. So in the case of UDL, if is there any beam, so this reaction is same as you can say put here also. So similar in the same line, it means this is also acting at this point also. So it's a simply spotted kind of beam. So you can relate it. Just it's a not a simply spotted, but just I'm relating it. So that value will be 8 into 5, WL by 2, WL 8 into 5, 40 by 2, that is 20 kilonewton. This one is also 20. Total load is balanced now. So reaction is calculated. Now cut one section for this segment and cut a second section for this segment. So as we have here, the UDL loading is also M1. We need to find M1 is nothing but 20 into the perpendicular distance, that is x1, minus this UDL loading. It is going to rotate in this direction. So how it is going to be rotate? 20 will try to rotate the body in the this direction. Fine, in this direction, and this 8 kilonewton is also try to, if you are taking the moment at this point, it will try to rotate in, it will try to rotate in this direction. So their the rotations both try to rotate in opposite direction. So m1 is equal to 20 into x1, 20 into x1, this is the x1 distance, minus 8 into x1 by x1 by 2 into x1 by 2, so it will be minus 4x1 square. So this is the m1 which is coming. Now we need m2. What is the value of m2? Because there is no perpendicular as force, this is the force in this direction only, so there will be no force acting. Again, this force in the downward direction, so there will be no movement is going to be created in this particular portion. So there is no perpendicular loading acting, so load is only the same direction as the movement is acting, so there will be no perpendicular force. So here the m2 will coming out to be 0. Fine. So this is the segment x2. So we have value of m1 and m2. Now we need to replace with the real loading that we have. It's a for a way of calculation all these things by virtual work method. Now we need to apply the unit load. So this is the unit load we need to apply in the direction of deflection that we measure. So there is a 1 kilonewton here. The summation of horizontal force is equal to 0. So 1 equal to 1 only. So that will be equal to 1 kilonewton. Now take the moment any of the spot point and you will get 0.8 here. So that is the 4 by 5. 4 by 5 is just a 0.8 only. So that is how you can get the value of vertical reaction. So take any of the spot point, one summation of vertical horizontal force is equal to 0, that is 1. If you take a moment about this point, what will happen? 1 into 4. Fine, 1 into 4, and this reaction if you are taking unknown, or you can say point this RA, suppose this point if you're taking B or A, so that will be RB into 5. So 4 by 5 ultimately coming out to be 0.8 only. So one is upward, other is downward. Their summation should be equal to 0. So they are coming 0. This was in horizontal x positive x direction. This is positive negative direction. So their summation also coming out to be same. So now these are the values here. Fine. So we need to find what is the value now the moment small m, which is m section for 1. What is the value? So that will be only 0.8 into x1. So there is this is the same line of the action. So there will be no perpendicular distance for 1 kilonewton. There will be no moment for that. So there is a force which is acting perpendicular to the segment, which is 0.8 into x1. So there the sign convention that we consider that should be remain same here. So this sign convention taking as positive, so clockwise taking as positive here, so this value is coming. So in downward direction also this load is again m2. This moment is again there is a cut section, this will try to rotate in anti-clockwise, plus a minus m1x, that side will be go, and your value will coming out to be 1 x2. So in this case you are not getting any moment because there is no force in the perpendicular direction, so that's why there is no moment acting here. 1 kilonewton load acting, so 1 x square, x2 will be the value of the moment. Now we have capital M because that is a moment due to the real loading. We have value of moment due to the virtual load applied. Now put into the equation that we have, that is delta B is equal to limit of 0 to L. Capital M means the moment due to the real loading into the loading moment due to the your dummy loading, or you can say arbitrary or virtual loading. So put their value. First segment is valid for this portion only to 0 to 5, 0 to 5. Capital M is 20, x1 minus 4x1 square. Yes, 4 1 and put x. This means virtual loading also. So 0.8 x1 bracket dx1 by EI plus 0 to 4 for that column segment. M2 is 0, x2 1x2 dx2 x2 by ei. So this value coming out to be 0. Just solve this and you will get the value of delta b, which is 166.7 divided by ei. So that's how we can calculate by using virtual work principle that we have seen in the previous semester classes as well. So any of the method you can go with. I just use this because it looks a bit simpler compared to the other methods. Otherwise it's not mandatory you always use to virtual work. You whatever you are comfortable with, you can use that method to calculate. Next, we need to calculate due to the unit load applied in horizontal direction. So now we are not going to consider the value. So a unit load applied in the direction of deflection that we need to calculate. FBB that we need to find, that is, you can say displacement acting at happening at B due to the force applied at point B. So again, there is no real loading. So just take the small mm only. So you need to again divide two segments. Way we have solved the previous portion, that also remains same here also. So 0 to 5, 0.8 x1 to dx1 ei, and plus 0 to limit is 0 to 4 for the column segment, 1x2 power square or you can square dx2 by ei. After solving, you will get 48 ei and put into the equation of superposition that we have already done. So 0 is equal to displacement due to the real loading and virtual loading applied that we already calculated, that is delta B plus Bux into FBB, that is you can say angular displacement coefficient when there is a unit force, or you can say a unit force acting in the direction of displacement at that point. So Bx is equal to minus 347 kilonewton. Now we have the values of Bx. Now this problem become your simply statics problems. Now we have this value, we need to find By, Ay, Ax. So take just apply summation of vertical force is equal to 0. So you can Ax will coming out to first apply summation of horizontal force is equal to 0. This force in inward direction, that coming out to be outward direction. Obviously their summation should be the same. Then take any of the moment about any of the support point, like you can take moment at here. So that will be minus 40. Minus 40 means for 20 into 5 the distance. You can convert is 40 sorry, is a reaction into 2.5 minus by into 5 minus 3.47 into 4. So by coming out to be 20 into 8. So 20 into 5 into 2.5, it should be minus 40, should not be there, might be, it should be 20 into, well please check this value, take the moment about this point. So that will be 20 into 5 into 5 by 2. So that will be 2.2. This should be, I think there should be a correction, it should be 100 here, might be, right? So you can calculate these values and you will get. I hope you can do that. Otherwise, I will do it on the whiteboard. So let me do it for you. So next topic we are going to discuss now, that is moment distribution method. It's a displacement method. It's a type of displacement method basically. So moment distribution method, what is moment distribution method, how we can apply it, what are its benefits, and its application based, we will solve some numerical in further lectures. So first we are going to, in this particular lecture, I'm just going to describe some basic fundamentals of this method, who is developed, what are the things we need to find before applying this method, some are the things we need to find out. There are like distribution factor and all that stuff. So let's see what does that mean. So moment distribution method is also it's a type of displacement methods of analysis. So this method of analyzing beams and frame using moment distribution, what we are doing, basically we are distributing the moment, means there is some moment at point and we are distributing that moment to the further some other joints, so say or you can say points. It was developed by Hardy Cross in 1930. And moment distribution is method of successive approximation. So what we are doing basically successive approximation we are going to do. There is a fixed moment at points first, then we are going to use some distribution factor, multiply by that to the fixed end moments and distribute to the further joints depending upon the distribution factor that we have, carryover factor and all stuff that we will look after. So this being this moment, I just going to give you, it's a developed by Hardy-Cross in 1930, and it's a successive approximation method and carried out to desired degree of accuracy. So it's a not a kind of things. You need to repeat the task until the balancing of all moment is not taking place. So basically we are distributing the moment. All the moments should be, all the joints should have equal moment. Try to do that, but many time you are not going to get those values within 5 or 6 successive approximations. But in that case, you need to go for 10 successive approximations. So that will be a little lengthy in that portion. But wherever you are getting direct, mostly accurate, so like you can say most equal values on joints, there you can stop it. Otherwise, it's continue till the values coming out to be 0, or you can say balance out. So let's see how we can do it. So here essential method begins by some assuming each joint of structure is to be fixed. So for being this moment, we are going to assuming that each joint of the structure is to be fixed. Then by unlocking and locking each joint in succession, means we are, once we are considering, first we consider the all joints to be fixed, then we unlock it and multiply by distribution factor, and then apply take that moment to the other joint, then locking it, then unlocking it, and these kind of steps that we need to follow. The internal moments at joints are distributed and balanced units. The joints have rotated to their final or nearly final position. So unlocking and locking, they, in that case we are going to calculate internal moments at the joint and distribute and balance them on the all the joints nearly, or you can say finally equal positions, that there we can reach, right? So here I'm going to put something you will better understand those the things theoretically just we have seen in the previous slide. You might get not connected, but after seeing this you will better understand what I meaning about all those points that we had just seen in the previous slides. So if you see in this particular case, first we are going to see the sign convention that we need to adopt. So this is the beam, as you can see, MAB and MBA. There is the clockwise rotation, both side, or clockwise movement is acting. P load, and there is the UDL of W kilonewton per meter. So likewise here also you can see, so there is a MAB and MBA. These are the moments acting due to the 800 Newton load acting at the point load, which is at the center. So sign convention, we will establish the sign convention as we already established in the slope deflection method, that we already seen what are the sign convention was there, but here I'm changing them. Here I am not going to the same sign convention which I am adopting, but you can adopt any of the sign convention according to you as well. I am not forcing you to take these sign convention. In which sign convention you are more comfortable with to use to solve the problem, you go with that. So clockwise movement that act on the member are considered to be positive, because and counterclockwise is negative. In the last case, if you remember, I hope so, slope deflection method we have reverse sign convention, means clockwise considered to be negative and counterclockwise to be positive. So I just changed because I want to let you know that any of the sign convention you can adopt, value are coming the same in that. So that's why I just changing it. So fixed end moment in this case, if you consider in the second case, there is a beam which is itself a fixed beam having a point of load at 800 kilonewton at the mid portion. So fixed end moment will be equal to PL by 8, that we already know how to calculate it. So 800 into the span of the beam, which is 10 by 8, so 1000 Newton meter. Now MAB is in anti-clockwise direction, take as negative, MBA is clockwise, so take as positive. So there is just that difference. Otherwise, in the last case, this term was positive, this one is negative. Nothing will be changed more than that. Then we have member stiffness factor. It is very important term, and you need to be very aware about it. But how we can calculate this member stiffness factor? So it will let us know how, and it is going to be used to calculate the distribution factor also. So member stiffness factor is mandatory to find, and by using the member stiffness, we are going to get the values of distribution factor. So that I also going to see in the further slides. So as you can see in this beam, it's a probed cantilever beam, and there is a rotation acting, and that is try to rotate my beam by theta a. Fine, this is the moment which is acting at the fixed end M dash. So consider the beam as it is considered in the picture, which is pinned at one end and fixed at other end. So there is a pin support, and this one is a fixed support. Application of the moment cause the end A to rotate through an angle theta A. As it is, I just explained to you, M tries to rotate my beam by angle theta A. And we already seen in conjugate beam method. I hope everybody remember that, how we get that. If there is a fixed probed cantilever beam is there, in that case, what is the value? If you are not aware about, please as again note it as homework. You need to find a value of moment. What is the value of moment? Or you can say what is the value of theta A coming, because theta A is 0 because it is a fixed beam, fixed port, so that will not allow to rotate, but there is a theta is happening. So any of the method you can use and get the value of rotation. So if we are rotation, so that value coming out to be 4 ei by L theta A. So moment theta A will be equal to ml by 4 ei. That is the value. Otherwise, I think everybody know in the last slope deflection method we have seen, when there is a simply supported beam and rotation at hinge support is there. In that case, near the support, what was the value? That is WL, or you can say ML by ml by 3 ei, and the other sport that don't have the value of moment which is acting, so that value is ml by 6 ei. So in this case, if there is a moment acting in the probed cantilever case, this value is coming out to be ml by 4 ei is equal to theta I. So we need to calculate m is equal to 4, obviously just cross multiplication, nothing else. So theta A is equal to ml by 4 ei. M is equal to 4 ei by L theta A. So this term considered to be your stiffness, or you can say if far end is fixed. If far end is fixed, means if you are standing here, your far end is this one. So if you are at A, your far end is B, means dur ka point. So this is the far end, and it is fixed. In that case, K value is coming out to be 4 ei by L. So please note it down. It is very important point that we need to use in the further calculations. So again, this thing is mentioned here. So it is refers to what does stiffness factor mean. So let me put the read the line, and I will explain it. What does that mean? So it is referred to the stiffness factor at A. Stiffness factor at A can be defined as amount of moment required to rotate the end A of the beam theta A is equal to 1 radian. What does that mean? Stiffness factor will let us know how much amount of moment required to rotate my end A by theta, or you can say 1 radian. If you want to rotate my end A by the angle of 1 radian, how much moment I need to apply, that will let us know by the stiffness factor. Clear? So what does that mean? I am repeating again. It means at A can be defined as amount of moment M required to rotate the end A of the beam of by 1 radian. So that will let us know by the stiffness factor. Clear? So joint stiffness factor, what does that mean? If several members, like many times you have a joint where there are different members or components are connected on a single joint. In that case, how you are going to calculate the stiffness factor, that we are going to calculate here. So if several members are fixed connected to a joint, like there is a center joint and that is connected by 3 fixed joint, in that case, what is the value? So that we are going to looking into it. To a joint and each of their far end is fixed, then by a principle of superposition. Again, I already told you principle of superposition is a very basic principle for the structure analysis. You need to be aware about it. The total stiffness factor at joint is the sum of the member stiffness factor. Means what we need to do, we need to calculate each member stiffness factor, and then summation of them, you will get total stiffness of that point. Fine. So that we can do in this particular case. So let's do it. So what we need to do, this is the example which I'm trying to explain the point which is mentioned on the previous slide. So there are a point A here, and there which is connected. This is the point where I'm looking into, like this is the point. Their far end B, far end is D, and far end C also there. So my far ends are B, C, and D. So, and their individual stiffness are given. So that stiffness can be calculated as we have seen in the previous relation, that is 4 EI by L, if far end are fixed. So for the A point, there is KAD, means K stiffness of member AD, KAB means the stiffness of AB, and the stiffness factor of AB, and stiffness factor for AC. So their values are given. So I want to calculate the total stiffness. What will be the value? Just you need to summation of all the values. So what is the value coming for this portion? So 4,000 plus 1,000 plus 5,000, which is equal to 10,000. So total stiffness at joint A coming out to be, stiffness factor at J is A is coming out to be 10,000. So you can say of KD member, as it is already given. So total stiffness is 10,000. What is percentage of this 1,000? And then we have 1,000. You can say 10%, 40%, and 50%. There are the values. So the value represent the amount of moment needed to rotate joint through an angle. If you want to rotate a joint A by through an angle of 1 radian, how much stiffness factor I require? 10,000 stiffness factor. Right. So unit you can calculate for EI by L. I is Newton per meter square. I you can say meter 4 by L. So you can solve it and you will get the values of stiffness factor here. So that much of stiffness factor is required to rotate my, that much of amount of moment is needed to rotate my beam to one radian. So that I will get to know after calculate the stiffness factor. So because stiffness factor is nothing but it is equal to M is equal to K into theta. Yes or no? It's a K only, na? K into theta. If you want to rotate, means if you want to calculate theta, what will be the value? That is M by K only. So that means if you want to rotate my, you can say theta, in that case theta will be equal to M by K. So from there you will get to know that value, right? So that is the meaning of that value. I think everybody getting my point, but I'm just saying here. So M is equal to 4 EI by L into theta A. 4 EI by L is K. M is equal to K into theta. It means stiffness factor into the angle of rotation. So if you, this is the value, this value represent amount of moment, this much of amount of moment I required if I want to rotate my this A point by an angle of 1 radian. That is the physical meaning of that stiffness factor. I hope this point is clear to all. So I'm moving further by supposing that you get to the point I just explained to you that. So distribution factor, which is represented by DF, if a moment M is applied to a fixed connected joints, the connected member will each supply a portion of resisting moment necessary to satisfy the moment of equilibrium at the joint. What does that mean? So that fraction of total resisting moment supplied by the member is called distribution factor. So maybe by the definition you are not clear that much, but I will show you how, what does that mean. Basically meaning is that of distribution factor is that if there is a fixed moment applied, we are going to use a distribution factor, and some of that fixed moment we are going to distribute on further joints. So at one joint, it's a very good thing that we need to do the distribution. Otherwise, as a designer, if you look into that, if somewhere in a joint we have a huge amount of moment is there, like there are continuous beam at one joint, we are getting moment is 500. On other middle portion, it is only 100. On other is a 50. So it's a very huge difference between the moments. So in that case, if you're going to provide the reinforcement, it's very difficult to provide. So in that case, on the joint where we are getting maximum moment, you need to apply a lot of reinforcement instead of applying the reinforcement at 100 kilonewton meter moments or 15 kilonewton meter moment. What we need to do in that case, to make we use the moment distribution ways to distribute that moment to the further joints, so we can equally distribute or we can equally provide the reinforcement to resist that. So what we will do, we are going to use distribution factor, means some of the factor value we need to calculate, and that by multiplying that by approximation methods like a successive approximation we will do, and ultimately we will distribute some of the value of 500 moments to the other points, like some of at 100 and some of the value at 50. So approximately if we are able to distribute 200 kilonewton meter low moment on further joints, at one joint now 300, on other if you take 100 even 150, and you can say on 1.200 other is 150. So some value is looking a little good compared to the previous distribution. So it's a very good method to use. So because that's why it's a we are having in structural analysis part 2. So let's see what does that mean. So to obtain its value, imagine the joint is fixed, connected in to n members. Like as you can see, there is a frame actually. There are two far ends are fixed. At A point, there is a moment is 2000 Newton meter. So there is a 2000 Newton meter. That moment we need to distribute how much moment is coming out at D point, how much moment is coming out to B point, means at segment AB and AD and AC. So this is the total moment I need to distribute. If you are not distributing at A, that is the value of moment acting. So how much reinforcement you will provide in that case, it's a very difficult to do that. So that's why we need to distribute it. So distribution factor we need to find, we need to multiply by the distribution factor for AD segment. Their value of that fraction of moment will be distributed through AD, multiply AB distribution value, and that much of value which we are going to get, that we need to distribute through this, and for segment C AC also for the same way that we did in the AD and AB. So let's see, let me put in further detailing, so how we can solve it. So to obtain its value, imagine the joints are fixed connected to n members as it is shown here. If an applied moment m cause the joint to rotate and about theta, look, suppose this moment is try to rotate my A joint to be angle of theta, then each member I, any of the member I rotates by the same this same amount. So we want every moment to rotate by this theta only. So if the stiffness factor is of ith member, any ith member is there, any one of the member is Ki, then the moment distribution by the member is Mi is equal to Ki theta. Obviously, Ki is this stiffness factor into the ith member. There is also moment due to the one, and multiply by I, that is coming out to be Ki into theta only. So Ki is your moment, I is the I only here. Since equilibrium requires here, so m is equal to that total moment is equal to mi, means ith member, plus mn if there are other also. So which is equal to ki theta, means it's a k is a stiffness factor into the rotation or theta. Ki is the member plus k and theta, which is nothing but equal to the 0, or you can say is equal to the summation of all the values ki here. Then the distribution factor from ith member. If you want to calculate what is the value at joint, we know that total stiffness is coming out to be sum of the k. What is the value of this segment coming out? So DFI means a distribution factor for any of the member, or you can say ith member, which is nothing but mi by total I m. From there we are going to get, so equal to ki theta by summation, or this is the theta actually. So this should be theta, not a 0, it's a theta. Theta is taking out to be common, so from that's why it's a sum of ki and kn on all that. So theta is cancelled out. Ki by sum of ki means if you want to get the value of stiffness factor for AD, means that will be the value of, oh sorry, distribution factor for AD, which is nothing but stiffness factor of that member divided by total stiffness. What does distribution factor? What is the meaning of distribution factor? Distribution factor is nothing but stiffness of the member divide by the total stiffness. So that will be your coming out to be DF or distribution factor. So let me tell you how we can distribute here. For example, in this case, this is the segment we have seen. Fine. So here the 2000 load was there initially. For example, distribution factor, remember, as AB, BC, and AD are joint A. I just calculated. I suppose so. In the last case, we have seen this. So everybody, I think you please note it down if you are not supposed to remember it. AD have KD, KAD value means stiffness factor of AD is 1000. Stiffness factor for AB is 4000 and stiffness factor for AC is 5000. So now we are going to calculate stiffness distribution factor. So here AB, AC and AD are the joints which are connecting at A. So DFAB, that we know that what is the value of stiffness factor for AD? That was 4000 divided by total stiffness that we already calculated. That is 1000 plus 4000 plus 5000 was 10,000. That is calculated in previous slide we have seen already. So what is the distribution factor means how much value of a fraction of that total stiffness is taken by that member. That will let us know by the distribution factor. Total is 10,000, 4,000 is taken by this. So what is the fraction? So that is 0.4. Similarly for AC 0.5 and for the other also that value will coming out to be same. One there is 1,000, so 1,000 divided by 10,000 that will be 0.1 only. One thing note it down, DF is never ever coming out to be more than or less than 1. It is always equal to the 1 at a joint, because that you can do it here. 0.4 plus 0.5 plus 0.1, there is 1 only. So it is always one value. So make sure once you are calculate it, that there is again verification. You can verify whether you are getting the value of DF is same or not. Fine, its value coming out to be 1 only. So now we need to, what was the initial value? There is a only moment, that is 2000 Newton meter moment was initially acted at point A only. Now we, by using distribution factor, what we are doing, as a result, if M 2000 Newton acts at joint A, the equilibrium moments exerted by the members on the joints. Now we need to apply the load. This distribution we need to do it. How much moment is going to carry by the, it's all obviously depend upon the stiffness factor and its cross section also, because stiffness factor is nothing but 4EI by L. So its length is also participate. E means a property of the material will also affect, and the cross section also will affect. So that we know that cross section if changes, the moment capacity and you can say will change. In that case, the resistance will come more compared to that. So MAB, how much it will going to carry? So 0.4, total is 2000, that is 800 Newton. Now you can say at this segment is going to carry by 8000 Newton meter. And AC 0.5 into 2000, this is going to be 1000, and AD is going to be carry 2000. So total you can say again there is a 2000 was in this direction and all are in that direction. Summation of equilibrium out the point about the point A is equal to 0. So that's how you can do it. Fine. So let me take it back. So this is how you can do it.